right, y'all. What's up, man? Back with another episode. We're doing a watch party today. You know, we're gonna comment on the Cowboys game. As you know, the NFL won't let your boys show it. We're gonna give you all that commentary like nobody else was with your boy, yours truly, Hoop Jargon. And JC, how you feeling?
Hey man, I'm doing good, bro. How you doing?
Man, you know, I can't complain. Can't complain one bit. I woke
2
up.
feet in a heartbeat, right?
Yes,
2
sir.
feet in a heartbeat.
Yes, sir.
And free on bond.
There you go. And free on bond. So salute to y'all, man. And then y'all tap the like button, man. And let's talk about Cowboys. As you know, the game 7-7 against the Philadelphia Football Eagles with 1:36 to go in the first quarter on my slow internet. Wait a minute. We're a little further up. I'm so sorry. But 7-7, JC, so far, takeaways. You see.
Man, it sucked to see Rush force that one when the front side slot guy had come down. You had a crossing route with Ferguson, right? He comes down, the safety's off. I mean, that's 15 yards right there instead of a pick six. And but I will say this, they are playing pretty inspired, you know, from what I can see so far. Like, I saw something the other day that I didn't even know, right? That Rico Dowdell is 6 foot 215. Man, when you're 6 foot 215, you're a big dude. And he doesn't look like that. You know what I'm saying? And he's been a fine player. He's done everything that's asked of him this year. But you notice with Rico, you kind of know what it is. He's gonna get what's there.
Correct.
You know,
correct.
He's not pushing any piles. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to the
next level runner either. Like he's not a guy who just you give him a little crease and he's gone like Turpin. He's
becoming more patient. Yeah. As you can see, he's becoming more patient. You know, he's kind of taking his time through the whole, you know, they're adjusting to each other, that kind of thing. And I'll say this, Cliff, I just feel like that there is value, you know, in your football team finishing strong. There is value. I know it may seem ridiculous in going 9-8, but you know, you're able to look and say, hey, man, we strung together 4 consecutive winning seasons. Okay. We haven't done that around here in 15 years or so. Okay. 4 consecutive, not non-losing, winning seasons. And so, yeah, it's a major disappointment. But I've always felt like that given the choice, you know, draft position or playing well, you know, I think you'd rather be playing well. You know, now I know that lends itself to McCarthy coming back. It's on him to me because I don't know what Jerry is going to offer him, right? But if he's able to say, hey, man, you know, I've strung together 4 straight winning seasons. Y'all haven't done that around here in 15 years, you know. Then you have, like, as my man DB had said, you know, Hoodie's off the board, right? So, wow, you know, that seemed to be the choice. And obviously, if I'm the Cowboys, I don't want to bring an assistant in here that doesn't have head coaching experience. That's why I mentioned Cliff Kingsbury. But I wanted to mention 2 other names for you. The capri pant wearing S-curl having brother down in Miami, he may get fired. And I'll be honest, I like him.
You bring him up every week.
I like that guy. Okay, capri pants aside, I like the guy. And I got a kind of a sleeper here. And I really want to get your thoughts on this, Cliff. If I think they might not, but if Shad Khan fires Doug Peterson, I like Doug Peterson. I've always liked him as a coach. I think you get something from him in terms of, you know, he's doing stuff, you know, and I don't know what the hell is going on in Jacksonville, to be honest with you, you know, with him and Lawrence. But, you know, you got a, you know, $9 million coach, $6 million GM, and a $50 million quarterback. Who in the hell do you think's on the chopping block? All right. It ain't going to be Lawrence. Right. So you would think somebody's got to go. Right. And I know Khan has a lot of respect. First down, Cowboys. Nice job, Dowdle. I know Khan has a lot of respect for Peterson, and he should. I really do think Peterson is a very good football coach. I'd love to have him here, you know. But what are your thoughts? All right. Given the choice, right? If you're going to make a change, Cliff, you've got Cliff Kingsbury,
Mhm.
again, knows the Redskins, has been a head coach, is from Texas.
Mhm.
Peterson, okay, who's proven he's got a Super Bowl win. And you got my man, the brother down there in Miami, who I
Well, I'll
like.
say this.
Who do you like, if any of
Uh,
them?
I can, and I'm not being biased because my name is Cliff, but I'm going easily Cliff Kingsbury. And this is a big if. If he got that air raid bullshit out of his system, as long as he has matured and got to his bag as a coach where he understands that. I mean, listen, I'm not against a high powered offense, but if it's all that air raid shit, no, I'm not on board. But I think that him having fallen from grace, coming in back in his assistant, and getting his legs back up under him. I would love to see Cliff because Cliff has that cachet where he's just a natural leader. He's a younger guy. And we're seeing kind of in the league, man, those kind of coaches are doing well, like Sean McVay, right? I love what your boy Raheem, I think Morris is doing out there in Atlanta, man. He's galvanized those guys and getting wins that it's like
I've always liked Raheem Morris a lot.
Man, I love him, man. And so I think these younger coaches.
So young,
Yeah, the young coaches
so
is the
young.
way, as long as they're competent, you know what I mean? And I think that is the case with Cliff Kingsbury. So again, the Texas roots, having the ability to scout at maybe at a high. Well, I mean, listen, let me step back for a second. The Cowboys scouting department does well. That's usually not our problem. The problem is implementation, as we're kind of seeing year after year. So, but anyway, I just think that that's a great way to go. I mean, Doug Peterson, retread Super Bowl coach. We kind of already did that right now. Our brother out there in Miami, I think Miami just has this loser cloud just hangs over them, man. It doesn't matter who's over there, man. You just gonna go over there and get your ass kicked. So I'm not adverse to any of those names, but if you're gonna ask me the one I'm gonna pick, yeah, I'm going Cliff, man.
I mean, obviously you're gonna wonder who's gonna run the defense. And here's the thing that exists that's just a straight up fact is if you bring in the cat from Miami or you bring in Peterson, they're going to want their own staff. Okay. Kingsbury is an assistant who has been a head coach. I think Jerry has that much coveted leverage over him to say, you're going to keep Zimmer or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And we could talk about how flawed of a philosophy that is. But ultimately, bruh, when you're talking about Gerald Wayne, we got to exist in the real world, Playboy. And that's just what it is. We're looking for a guy that can function in that environment, okay, that can do well in spite of Gerald forcing a staff on him. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And I think that, he's been inside over there at DC, hanging out with the Commodores, right? Mm. So that's kind of a good deal. It's because I feel like that. I feel Philly has a really good organization, and they should be pretty good for a while. I think the Giants are in a real bad spot right now, but they could turn it around. But I think your primary threat is going to be Washington going forward. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Why not? Why not have a guy that's been in that room?
I can see that. No, that's a great point. Great point. So
I mean, it's just like, we're all throwing fucking darts here. Correct. All right, seriously. Right. Speaking of darts, as Cooper misses a wide open Mingo, it's you don't know what's going to happen. And the thing is, with going with like a hot shot assistant, that is so iffy. You know what I'm saying? And if it's Ben Johnson, he's going to want his own staff. You heard about the outrageous demands he was putting out when people were sniffing around him for head coaching jobs, $15 million a year and all this kind of stuff because he didn't want those jobs. That's how come he put that out there. He ain't getting 15. I don't give a rat's ass what he says. All right. But this is why, and I think that people don't understand this, Cliff. You have a veteran like McCarthy, right? And you have an assistant. I'm telling you, these owners and these football people say, well, McCarthy is we're going to have a reasonably good idea what to expect. And an assistant can fall flat on his ass and set your franchise back, right?
Correct.
You know, and McCarthy's going to at least keep them, depending on the guys that he's got, they're going to at least have a reasonable facsimile of an NFL team out there. I mean, now the argument that we've always made is 21, 22, 23. Man, this was a top 3 roster. I don't care what you say, it was a top 3 roster, okay, in terms of talent at every position and stars, right? You know, you have corners, you have a great pass rusher, you have complementary pass rushers. You know, you had Pollard and 23, so you had a very adequate run game. You had CD at his best. You know, you had an emerging Ferguson and the tight ends in that. You know, and all these cats, right? And I just think that it comes back to what Jimmy Johnson always said. Well, how come they haven't won a Super Bowl since you left, Jimmy? And Jimmy always gives the stock answer. They ain't been good enough. Okay, now, I think personnel-wise, I think they have been good enough to at least advance further than they have. But what he's also talking about is coaching and front office. And I only bring front office into it because front office determines who the coach is.
Correct.
You know, I mean, do you think they should have fired him after the Green Bay game? I do.
I think we should have found a long time ago. I mean, so that's kind of relevant. The next,
okay. And I agree. I thought the shit where he declined a safety was a fireable offense against Arizona. There's countless things. You know, again, the Bengal game. All right, like he's all into these analytics and shit, but analytics tell you when a field goal or a punt is blocked and it goes past the line of scrimmage, get your bitch ass off the field.
Yeah.
You've already won.
Yeah.
You've won. Yeah. That ball was going out around the 50. Okay. You saved 30 yards. Head to the fucking house.
Well, I was about to say this too. So this is coaching. Like, so some people say, like, well, they're athletes, they're professionals, they should know this. And from my time of coaching, like we talked about 2 weeks ago on the stream, you got to constantly remind them because the adrenaline is flowing, and guess what? They think about making a play. And so, but when they're disciplined, that goes back to that Belichick thing that we said. They know that, okay, situational awareness. Okay, I want to make a play, but no, for the greater part of this team, I don't care what my personal aspirations are. I'm not going to touch the ball. I'm going to get the hell away from the goddamn ball. You call Fox, you call fire, whatever the code word is. When the punch block, you know to get your ass out of Dodge and don't be nowhere near the damn football. And so it shows me that you're glossing over things like that. And listen, and we're in nitpicky land, true enough, but those things show themselves in moments like that. It is what it is. Oh, and shout out to the Quiet Storm, man. He said, you think that, and channel member, by the way, thank you for being a channel member, sir. Says, do you think Dak Prescott was worth the contract? JC, I'll let you unload on that one.
Man, and that's why you were a Division I coach. The phrase pops into my mind when I think about you, I think about other coaches and coaches that can be trusted to, you know, make an adjustment. The phrase that comes to mind, my friend, is from the great Who song, I Won't Get Fooled Again. You know, it's like something bites you in the ass and you say, hey, hold up, whoa, hey, hang on just a second. I'm damn sure not going to let that shit ever happen to me again.
Correct.
You can count on it.
Correct.
Right? And I don't see that with him, but they are where they are. All right. Obviously, you know, man, back channel shit goes on.
Correct.
Belichick doesn't take the Carolina job if Jerry says, well, now hang on now, Bill. We're gonna
right.
do something.
I was going to ask me about the coaches. Yeah,
we're gonna do something after the year here now, Bill. And we certainly would like you to be in that mix. And you could save me that $10 million buyout if you just will remain a free agent. You know, I understand Bill wanting a job, but that the structure of the buyout is set up that you could tell, man, that Bill is holding out hope that an NFL team will come in. It's tied into the buyout. It's only 10. But when you get past a certain point, then it becomes much more massive and prohibitive, right? It's on that's the thing when you hire a college coach, it's only a cash buyout. If there is one, a lot of coaches have in their contracts, hey man, if the pro job comes up, fuck off, screw your buyout. Some coaches have, hey man, if Notre Dame or Texas or USC comes up, I'm sorry, man, I'm up out of here. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of the nature, of the beast, right? So he's holding out hope. What I don't like is, and I've always said, well, the Cowboys, are like the Lakers. The Lakers, if the Lakers go get a good ass coach, ain't nobody tripping. No one's tripping. If the Yankees go get a good ass manager, ain't nobody tripping.
For the most
right?
part, yeah, that's true.
But the Cowboys, for whatever reason, we know there's restrictions, self-imposed, as to why they can't get a dynamic coach. You know what I'm saying? And in the pro game, now what I've noticed, there's compensation. And that shit started with Gruden in Tampa Bay, right? You look up and then Peyton had been out of the game. And they were still had to give up some shit to get him. And that pisses me off. I'm like, hell no.
I'm with you.
Trying to give up no compensation for a damn coach. There's too many of them out there, all right? And I can find a good one, Hey,
I'm going to throw another name out there, man. How you feel about Byron Leftwich, man, finally getting a head spot?
I mean, that's such a crazy question. Do you think Dak Prescott was worth the contract? I think we know that if we had him
you heard
the
my
whole
question?
year.
You heard my question, JC?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
So I want you to answer the Dak one, but I also asked you about how you feel about Byron Leftwich because you just were lamenting about coaches.
Man, he was on that staff with Arians.
Mm-hmm.
That staff that Arians put together that won the Super Bowl, right? Todd Bowles, former Cowboy guy, right? Mm-hmm. On that staff, hey, listen, that staff, they won the Super Bowl. That you have to say that was a good staff.
Correct.
You absolutely have to say it. And you got Byron Leftwich, who's calling plays along with Arians and working with Brady. The fact that Leftwich was able to do that and not be out of his depth, that's a great point. That I you know what? And I hadn't thought of him. I don't know why. After being the OC of a Super Bowl winning team, I'm just curious as to why there hasn't been more mention of the guy, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a great point. Again, does not have the HC experience, but I tell you what, if there was a guy that, because as good as Ben Johnson is, he hasn't really done what Leftwich has done. Mm-hmm. Okay, and Leftwich was, piloting, OCing a team that won the Super Bowl, right? So I think there's something to be said for that. I gotta tell you, man, that is a great man. That is a nugget by you, my friend, bringing that up, because I feel like he's gotten forgotten.
Yeah, which is why.
When was that Super Bowl? When was that Super Bowl? 2-3 years ago?
That's
was that the bubble Super Bowl or whatever the fuck? Right? You know what I mean? Right? Which they still people hate on the Lake Show, and I hate the Lake Show too. But it's that's a bubble championship. Kiss my ass. Championship. Right? And when the Spurs won that strike championship.
Game year, hey, you count that, all of them count.
It's championship, man. Y'all knew what it was. Going in when the Spurs won that championship, and Phil said, I shouldn't have an asterisk. Man, screw you, Phil. Man, go eat some damn granola and meditate. They won championship, homeboy. That's how it goes.
I understand the counter, but like you said, if you count the Spurs, the first championship they won, then they all count.
They all fucking count. I want to hear shit.
That's where I'm at.
They all count. I love the Leftwich. Hey, man, you need to dig into your bag, Cliff, and find some more guys. Because I tell you what, I love the Leftwich idea. So what it gets me thinking is, who else are we overlooking?
Correct.
Who else has done some things, if you will, that you got to say, hey, hang on a second, man. This is, what they're doing, all right, is not easy. Where the hell is the pass rush today, man? Good God Almighty.
Yeah, so you guys are following 7-7 with 6:45 to go in the second half.
The Eagles just scored.
Man, Pickett just throws
the Eagles just scored
to Smith.
They got no pass rush, and Smith is wide open on a just classic passing play. Slot smash, slot corner, slot flag. Boom, boom. Wide side. Make that some bitch cover the whole field.
Break
Shit like this continues to work. You know what I'm saying? The Cowboys have that play. Everybody's got slot smash.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of one of the things that makes football real interesting. You know, we watch it here and we see everything that builds up to it. And it's like, as fans, a lot of times we live in a vacuum.
Correct.
You just forget everything that happened and say, what were you doing on that play? How could you not know that was slot corner or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Right? Like, everybody runs that play. How can that play work anymore? Well, shit, power sweep still works. You know, it's you know, it's execution. You know what I'm saying? And on that one, he had time.
I'm gonna say the pass protection was immaculate right there. He had a perfect pocket.
He had time.
Yeah.
He stand back there and chill out. You know what I mean? Wait. Throw that shit to the boundary where it's either he catches it or it's incomplete. You know what I'm saying?
Now I want you to address the International Quiet Storms question. Thank y'all for submitting y'all questions to the show. We want to be interactive as we can. Do you think that Dak was worth the contract?
God, that's such a fucking sticky wicket, as they say, right? Because and the reason that it's a sticky wicket is, oh my God, there's a lot of them. But I would say the prevailing reason as to why not to do it is we saw the fucking Sterner, Leaf, Testaverde, Hutchinson shit.
Quincy Carter,
good.
Henson.
It wasn't good. Quincy Carter was the best part of that group.
Yeah, it ain't so much.
And I don't hate Quincy, but Quincy is what he is.
It is what it is.
You know what I mean? He was what he was, you know? But listen, I don't want to take anything away from him, but hey, man, they went to the playoffs, you know? That was it. And it was one and done. And so it's the abyss of not knowing. Okay, so you won't let Prescott go. All right, well, what's next, Playboy?
What you got?
I mean, it can't be Rush. I don't care. And it obviously can't be Lance, right? So what's your move? You gonna draft a guy? Well, this is a quarterback heavy draft, but shit, when you get past, you know what I'm saying? Sanders is the clear cut guy. You got Sanders, you got Ward, you got Dark, you got Beck, right?
After that, who?
Yeah, right. So, you know, those guys aren't going to be there when you pick at 16, 17, whatever it's going to be, right? They're not going to be there. The lowest you can pick is the highest you can pick is 18.
Yeah.
You'd have to be the best of the non-playoff qualifiers, okay, in terms of record. If you're tied with San Francisco, then you win that because they beat you. That's how that tiebreaker works, right? So you're 17, 18, 16, 17, 18, somewhere in there. I don't see a guy, you know, and I'm not taking Quinn Ewers that high. I'm sorry.
Hell no.
He can throw a football.
I don't think Quinn's coming out, though. I think he's going to go to Oregon.
Well, they say he's going to a Big Ten school for $10 million, but whatever. Yeah, we'll see.
I think it's Oregon, the highest bidder.
I like Milroe, but it's a potential thing.
Yeah.
I think Milroe I would love to work with him, but hey, I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to need to give me some time. You know what I'm saying? You're going to need to give me some time because he needs more throws as Ferguson coughs one up and the Eagles recover. Eagles 14 down to 7.
Damn, I just caught it. Oh, man. Self-inflicted wounds is the theme of today, man.
Like I said, I like Milroe, but okay, are you going to have the patience if you take him at 16 or 17?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to have the patience? If the Cowboys let Prescott go and they drafted Milroe this year and said, this is the way we're going, what would your confidence level be? it'd be shaky because Milroe just again, man, I keep saying it. He just does not have enough throws in his career. He's got to throw the ball more. You know, he needs more time. So, okay, so you draft Milroe, you start Rush, then you get a gut full of that shit after a while. You say, all right, okay, Milroe, here you go. And does it work out? Man, that's the biggest what if. So
I'll be honest.
I really am torn on this. You know, I really feel like that. I'll say this: if they had done it before Tua and Love and Lawrence got his money, okay, then I really don't think I could argue with it. You know, because that's what we've talked about in the past. All right, man. So if you're just gonna say Dak's your guy, fine, man. Get about the business of putting a team around him. You know what I mean? If he's your guy, okay, fine, man. He's top 12 quarterback. Fine. All right, fine. You can win with him. Cool. Okay. I can live with it. But you can't win with him as presently constituted. And you waited and he got 60 instead of 50. Okay. Right? Because you had, you know, because you clearly don't have a plan in terms of negotiation. You know, you wait till game day, week 1, after these guys have signed, and you cost yourself $10 million. You know, we don't care about the money, but it's cap space. You know what I'm saying? It's cap space. And so, you know, Derrick Henry got about $9 million. There you go. Do the math. With the injury, I'm serious, man. I know as someone who opines or pontificates, I'm supposed to have an answer to that question. I don't. I seriously don't. I know there's no alternative, but what's he going to be when he comes back?
It's a lot of money tied up in that question. So, yeah. At the end of the day,
stuck with it.
Yeah, I'm about to say, at the end of the day, we misplayed it with the timing thing, and we're stuck with him. And I have to be honest, if I'm watching Cooper Rush play, all those negative comments I had to say about Dak, I can't say that's on Dak per se, because I'm watching Cooper Rush. You know, I don't know if well, let me say this. I don't think this plan
it gives you a little taste of what life without him is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a great taste. But
it's not that good.
It's not that good.
It's
but
not that good.
Again, if guys have been getting healthy, you know what I mean? So we're looking at a different Dallas Cowboy team that we started off week 1 through 4, right? So we got to keep all those things into mind when we make these pontifications, or when we opine, as my brother JC has laid on us with the vocab. We got to consider all those things too, because it's hard when you put everything in a vacuum and you're not considering all the variables. So in Quiet Storm, appreciate that answer, JC, by the way. So JC, I'm gonna let you take the reins. I'll make a breakfast sandwich for me and my lady. And I want you to kind of just talk about the game, talk about whatever you want to, and I'll be back in about 10. So you got the reins, my man.
All right, my man. That's what's up. Tush push in the building. And it worked with Pickett. So first down, Eagles. Again, don't do it to yourself. And that's what the Cowboys are doing it to themselves. You know, this is just such an interesting setup, you know, in terms of like, how do the Eagles look at it, right? Like, okay, you know, we know we're not starting Hurts. You know they're going to set out to win the game. But the question is, how many touches is Barkley going to get? Are they really going to set out to win it? If Barkley gets a bunch of touches, you know that they are, right? They want to wrap the division up like right now. Okay? So, here are the Eagles, 2nd and 10, Dallas 28. Pass the Brown, gain of about 6. Let's go bring up 3rd and 4, which is why the NFL is so highly competitive. The margins are so small, right? You know, and you live within them, right? You know, I would say from the tenor of this one so far, with the mistakes the Cowboys have made, it kind of seems to me like the Eagles are too good to not cash them in and benefit from them, so to speak. So we got a short game by Barkley. I think they're going to mark him short of the first. More tush push is what we're looking at here on 4th and 1. 3:22 left to go in the first quarter. Second quarter, rather, 14-7 Eagles. Here we go. Tush push again. And let's see. Here's a flag. Probably going to be offsides against Dallas. Depending on the spot, I don't know if he got it. It's close. Let's see what the flag is. Kind of pivotal. Difference between 4 and 7. Offsides against Dallas. So it doesn't even matter. Right? Shit like this, man. It just, I don't understand how in the course of our meetings as a football team that this shit is ever acceptable. That it's ever acceptable to line up offsides on defense. I'm sorry, man, especially on these short yardage joints, right? And so now, again, man, it's this is one that you made mistakes in, and it looks like it's potentially getting away from you, and it shouldn't, because, I mean, as good as the Eagles are, man, Kenny Pickett, I'm sorry, man, you don't really worry about him beating you, but yet here they are, getting ready to go up by a couple of scores in the first half, get the ball coming out in the second half, and this hit and miss Cowboy offense that's been mostly missing. It's like they can't seem to get out from under, that pick six, and the offense was moving the ball. And again, man, just zero pass rush. Zero pass rush. What the hell is going on? Right? It's a good play by 25. Booth on that to jump it. But again, zero zip, nada, zero pass rush. Crappy throw by Pickett. Late and inside. Very lucky that wasn't picked. And take it to the house. And again, these are the small margins, man, that we talk about. All right, 3rd and 9. Okay, for the Eagles, we got an injured Eagle player, big 77. That's a big dude. Limping off. Let's see what happened here. He's a pass protection against Golston. And what always happens to offensive linemen, or what's the prevailing injury? Somebody rolls up the back of their legs. Guy, you feel for these guys, because that's the one that ends up taking them down. Whomever it is. Somebody rolling up on the back of their legs, man. Feel for those dudes, man. They're banging away as it is, and then they got the risk of that, which that's what did it in Overshown. Somebody rolled up on the back of his legs, man. I mean, football is, yeah, man. Shit is real. All right. Shit is real in football. Okay, so what do we got here? 2 minutes, 3 seconds. Stoppage. Eagles take a timeout. 3rd and 9. Down in the Cowboy end there, man. Again, this is one of those pivotal plays here, man. It's a 4-point swing, but you got to get off the field. Got to get off the field. So we'll see. I got to tell you, I like those progressive commercials, man. They're pretty funny. Pretty funny, right? Like the dude giving instructions, right? Don't be like your parents. You woke up early, no one cares. Right? I dig them. All right, here we go, man. 3rd and 9. Eagles. All right, they brought in very Italian slot receiver, Calcaretta. And here's Kenny Pickett. 3rd and 9 from the 14. We'll call it the 13 and a half. 14 and a half. Here's Pickett. Standing, looking, throwing, tipped, incomplete. Finally, some pressure. My man Golston coming through like super glue, getting his hands up. If you can't get there, get your hands up. That's what they always say as a defensive lineman. Good shit. Again, this is an interesting NFL game to watch. I think some people might say it's not all that interesting because of the situation. Down starting quarterback. Cowboys without CD Lamb, eliminated from the playoffs. The Eagles can clinch, but they still got one in their pocket next week against the Giants. And I don't see any way on God's green earth they lose that one. All right. So it's all about allocation of resources, man. Allocation of resources, right? As we see the Honda commercial, right? Which I love that. Like a motherfucker being large, like they have these holiday ads and shit. Like, man, that's real dope to not be so broke that you could drop a car on somebody for Christmas. Hey, how you doing, man? Your gifts in the garage, your gifts in the parking lot. It's the big fucking Honda with the bow on it, right? You know what I mean? Right? Nice. I want to get back to being that guy, where I can gift automobiles for Christmas. Thank God you guys are having a sale. I'm wondering what to get little Johnny, who just turned 16. I'll get him a fucking car, right? Nice. Very nice. Straight no chaser. Man, we're just partying with y'all, watching the game, having a couple of pops, you know what I mean? And however else it is that you get down out there, making observations. Oh, special forces, man. It's crazy seeing Cam on that. How does he not dominate that? Oh, there's Peyton Manning, everybody. Peyton Manning. Or should I say Tainton Manning? Yeah, we all kind of forget about the time that he teabagged that poor, unsuspecting female trainer while he was at Tennessee. Had to be an incredibly traumatic moment for her, getting taint mushed by Peyton Manning. All right, here we go, man. 4th and 9. Eagles lined up for the field goal. Got Jake Elliott, 85%. Very solid kicker. That's what you want. If they ain't hitting 80%, man, they ain't on your team. Got to at least have 80 these days. And 50, 55 on the range. Thanks to cats like Aubrey. All right. So here we go. Snap down, kick is up, and it is good. Eagles 17. Cowboys 13. Now it's our Great Shaw with that beautiful still shot, all right, of me, taken obviously in the best of circumstances. So that when I do slide off the air, I got a real fly picture of me, right? If I only knew how to airbrush, right, it would be even better. But SNC Straight No Chaser podcast, and we're watching the game with y'all today. My man Cliff, the megastar, the patriarch of the whole thing, has taken a break to get a sandwich, as he said. So we got Joey Floser here, another member of the crew, and we're watching the game with y'all, doing the things that we do while we watch, right? 17-7, man. Got this last possession here. Well, it could be the last for the Cowboys to do something positive going into the locker room. And that's big in terms of, they're going to be kicking off in the second half. Man, need to drive down and get some points, man, and head to the house. Don't give the Eagles any more opportunities because really everything has kind of been gifted to them, in terms of what they've done. Saquon's been somewhat in check. They have made some plays on offense, no doubt about that. But this 17-7 shit is ridiculous. Shouldn't even be that. The fucking rush, misses. Ferguson, freaking slot corner blitz, right? Unbelievable. Oh, we got Turpin return. Don't see those very much. Always excitement when Turpin gets the ball. Always exciting, man. If he could have kept his feet on that run, man, he probably would have scored, man, when they handed it to him earlier. You know, he's not a very big guy. Best thing you get with him. But I'll tell you what, man, somebody can play some ball.
I'm in for a hot as promised. I was gonna match my bro with the sock. I told you, got a shirt just like you.
Just to be considered and in the same class with an extremely lovely, handsome man like Cliff Franks. Okay, don't get it twisted, no homo. I'm thrilled. You know what I mean? We are. When you look at we're cold chilling right now. You know what I mean?
As Rich Flair would say, we styling and profiling.
Like, seriously, we do. We look like, because Cliff is 6'7". Yep. For those who don't know, all right? And I'm 6'1", 2.
We small dudes. We small dudes.
2 1/4, right? I mean, we look like a wrestling faction, right? The SNC boys, right? And we're villains, right? You already know it, man. We come out from jump.
Hey, y'all, right? Peep it though.
You people need to shut up. I don't like any of you. You're weird and smelly. But you did get a chance to come down and see what will surely be the highlight of your miserable lives. SNC, put on a show.
No, right? we about to cut a promo for the WWE though. Look at us, though.
Straight up bad guys, man. You already know that.
Yes,
you know what I mean? We straight up bad guys, right?
Hide your daughters, guys.
Dangerous. You feel me? We're dangerous. All right, 1st and 10, man. Here's Rush in the pocket, fucking around again.
All right, a minute 10. I'm about to go back into my sandwich, but I had to jump back.
I'll hold it down. I'll hold it down, Tribal Chief.
Keep holding it down.
I'll hold it down, man. Pop back in anytime.
I'll be back into halftime.
Man, I wonder what kind of sandwich he's eating. Maybe it's like could it be like on brioche bread, maybe? Maybe it's a panini, right? Let's all speculate on the type of sandwich that Cliff is eating right now. Okay. Is it a panini? Is it on brioche? Okay. Maybe it's on Texas toast, right? Nice sourdough roll, perhaps. Or maybe it's the fried bologna American cheese on white, with a little mustard in there, right? Times can be hard sometimes, man. You got to budget this stuff out. I'm going to guess with Cliff, because he's so successful, all right? I'm going to guess that it's I'm going to guess, and Rush continuing to throw the football to the other team, intercepted as we continue to try to guess what type of sandwich Cliff is eating. It could be an open face club sandwich, maybe. Monte Cristo, if you will, with the turkey and the swine and the sugar on the bread and all that shit, right? Bacon, you know what I mean? Could be, right? The Rush, man, this fucking guy. What a dumb bastard. By no metric, okay, was that dude open. Hit 3 eagles around him. 3 eagles around him. I mean, I'll tell you what. Reminds me of the time Romo did that shit. Oh, it's like a punt. It's like a punt on second fucking down. Great, yeah. Because that's a great strategy, right? Let's pin him deep on second down. Only the guy ran the return back like 30 yards. Great. I mean, play against fucking NFL teams, right? And you fuck around, like they'll beat your ass. And that's the Eagles. The Eagles are having this one gifted to them. I swear, man, if we're going to go out like this, They better fire McCholesterol. They better run his fat ass out of town on a rail or not renew him, as it were. I don't want to hear shit. All right. Oh, they had a stretch where they played well and they finished fucking 7-10. Right. I don't want to hear shit about some stretch where they played well because the ass end of the stretch when they just completely flopped as part of the stretch. So, all right, 4-1. Yeah, remember they're going to be 4-3. Does that mean you should bring the guy back? If they lose these next two, they're going to be 4-3. Right, 4-3 after the 3-7 start. Man, screw that shit. Later for that, man. All right. After 3-7 start, okay, to me, you have to go 6-2 after that. I'm sorry, that's too many games. That's 18 games. You have to go 5-2 after that, man, for me, for it to be noticeable. That's bare minimum. Okay? That's bare minimum. It's like in 2010, they started out 1-7, and your man, another long time noted fat ass, Wade Phillips, got the axe, and Garrett came in and took over, and they went 5-3, and the 3 that they lost were really, really close. So, boom. Then you got 10 years of Jason Garrett with that. Okay, that's what happened, right? You got 10 years of Jason Garrett based on that 5-3 stretch, right? So, obviously, you're not going to get 10 years of McFatso, but how juiced are you going to be if you get it for a couple more years? I don't really see any way on God's green earth, man, out of pride as a Super Bowl winning coach, you know, if Jerry re-signs him, it ain't going to be no 1-year shit. I guarantee you that. If they'd have wanted him on a 1-year deal, they'd have signed him to a 1-year extension before the season. Okay? Coaches like Parcells, you know, they command that. I'm in my last year. You need to tack on a year. Okay? You need to tack on another year. All right? So I'm not a lame duck. You know, McCarthy's not, he didn't have the stones to say that to Jerry, or he's happy with the present arrangement or whatever it may be. But I would think that he would say, hey, oh my God. Wow. Kenny Pickett goes up top on you. And I'm telling you, they are struggling, all right, without their top line corner. It's a domino effect that you see. And they leave these guys in man coverage. And this is the shit that happens. I mean, God, he was wide ass open. He was wide ass open, man. That's fucking terrible. That's hideous. Oh, they're going to stop it at the 1. Big whoop. Give it to Barkley. Give him another touchdown. Unbelievable, man. And yeah, the defense has let them down, but this is happening because of Rush and the offense. That's why this is happening. That's why this shit is happening. Because of Rush and the offense. That's why. All right. They haven't mounted any type of threat. You know, I mean, damn it, give me 10 points. Give me 14 points. Give me 13 points. You know, don't have me stuck at 7 in the first half. That's a bad offense. All right. And you gave them 7. You know, if you had given them that 7, all right, then it probably wouldn't be as bad because your defense is hanging in. But you gave them that 7. You coughed up another one. I mean, that's loser ball. That's loser ball. Fumbling, the pick. And again, I don't know what fucking Rush was looking at on that one. What a dumb bastard. 3 guys over there, man. 3. Oh, why not? I'll exacerbate this shit by waiting. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Now we gotta watch this crap. Unbelievable, man. These fucking guys. But again, it's, yeah, man. Listen, fucking Booth is what he is. He's a dude that's probably gonna be out the league. That has been out of the league. All right. That's what he is. Okay. Can't blame him for being him. But this is so much more impacted by one guy, Rush. I mean, it's face upside, slot corner blitz, right? Double inside release. And your face up slot corner comes down. Man, you have got to throw that thing to the fucking sideline and hit Ferguson in stride. All right. He gets the first down. Shit, he probably gets about 15 on that play. But you have three guys, and you're coming with your backside guy, Cooks, on a slant, okay, and he's not a big guy, and you go ahead and throw it to him. I mean, this is not Michael Irvin we're talking about. Cooks is just, he's not a big guy. He's not a big guy. And so this is a stupid risk that you take, which is just straight up dumb, okay? Straight up dumb when you get it right side, you're right-handed, face up, you see that slot guy come down, right? And you got to cross right into that area, right? And there's literally no fucking mic, okay? Or he has bailed or come and is out of the picture. Man, that's a simple face-up. That area is wide open. Unbelievable, man. Unfucking believable, man. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. They make this fucking Pickett guy look like some kind of goddamn world beater. Jesus, man. They got problems big time. And they need to really continue to evaluate that fucking defense, man. Fucking Booth. You gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. You didn't have any help, man. You should have been bailing from jump, dude. Should have been bailing from jump. That was all you. If he catches the hook up, so be it. All right? But you can't fucking give that shit up at the end of the half, man. That's why he's been on the street. He is a journeyman. You know? Makes enough plays to be recognized, but then you just have these massive gaffes that no one's going to keep him long term. They're not going to do it. No one's going to keep him long term. And the Cowboys are starting him, and they're using him in single coverage. Okay, it's pathetic. This is pathetic, man. And the pass rush really should have been a lot better. All right, but this is on Rush. Okay, this is on Rush. This is 100% on Rush. 1,000,000% on Rush. And his fucking inability to not only not mount any kind of attack, but to give them one. All right? To give them one. 3 fucking turnovers. Jesus, Rush. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Pickett. This guy. Right? You have to suck bad for him to beat you. You really do. You gotta give it to him for him to beat you. For freaking Pickett to beat you, you have to suck. You have to suck. You have to suck at football for him to beat you. You know, they're containing Saquon, okay? But you got 0 pass rush and the X running fucking out and ups. catching 50-yard pass plays at the end of a fucking half. That's loser ball. That's loser ball. That's the type of football that you play that makes you a loser. You know, on the whole, man, this game should have been pretty even today, even with Rush's suckiness. Okay, and you see that, oh, he's got in his last such and say he's got 100 quarterback rating and 9 TDs and 1 pick. Yeah, he fucking wiped all that away today. It's just unsustainable with him, which gets back to the Dak thing. Feel like Lance ain't the guy. Okay, so if you hadn't signed Dak, you'd be drafting Milroe probably or somebody along those lines, right? More questions, you know. I think it'd be the one thing that's the cold-hearted thing about it is that if you knew that this thing with the hamstring was going to happen and it's pretty serious, if you knew and you hadn't signed him, be like, well, hey, man, you got questions. You know, is somebody going to give you 60 in the offseason? Teams are desperate for quarterbacks, man, but I don't know. That's what I keep coming back to on the Dak thing. I don't know. If you hadn't signed him, he's got this hamstring thing. Was somebody else going to give him 60? I don't know. Maybe you could have got him much cheaper, you know, but he'd probably be in his feelings because you didn't give him a big deal before the season. And then this happened, right? So I really think they would have been in, well, not think, I know, as cold-blooded as it sounds, that if they hadn't re-signed Dak, they'd be in a much better spot. I think they'd be in a much better spot because I just,
oh, there he is, Anthony Richardson.
It almost would have been a
foot, actually.
See what's out there. Like the team saying that. You know, when the team says, see what's out there, man, then you already know they're like, there's limits to how far we're going to go. So do emotions come into it? I don't know, man. I mean, look at all the situations out there. You know, teams are, I can almost guarantee 100%. Teams in need of a quarterback this year, but that would have been free, right? They're picking high. They're going to look at it and they're going to say, young, healthy guy, less cash investment up front, the rookie cap, or guy coming off of a torn hamstring. Torn. Right, detached from the bone.
Aaron Rodgers, you think?
And he's 30? Nah. We're going to draft a young guy. You know what I mean? Now, all it takes is one. All it takes is one. The thing is,
hold on, I got a scenario for you. How you feel about now? I'm no on this, even though I overall like this guy. How do you feel about dumping Dak and taking a 1-year fly on Rodgers?
Man, I've seen Rodgers play. Saw him last week, as a matter of fact. You know, because I love the guy. I think it might be over.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not crazy logic because when Marino retired, Denny Green was calling him every day in Minnesota. Oh, you still got something left, man. I didn't think that he did, but you could see the logic, you know. That's crazy. It's like, I don't know, man. He's a different cat than Brady. You know, in terms of the age and all that. It's not that Rodgers didn't take care of himself, okay? But Rodgers is always, Rodgers is a 4.6 guy. Like, he can run. He's got speed, or he had it, right? But the way that he used it, right, was to create space to throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? Because of his release, he can get set so quick. That's where his speed was a factor. He would scamper out of bounds every now and then, pick up a few, right? And when you have an Achilles injury and you're 40, it's interesting as hell because it doesn't work, same spot, but not. I wish there was somebody out there that I could see coming loose. Like, all of a sudden Stafford comes free, which shit, they're going to the playoffs. He's not coming free.
Correct.
But like the Baker thing, right? It was like, damn, Baker goes from 47 on the top 100 with the Browns to fuck off. We're done, right? We're going with this Watson guy. And I have to say, Baker went to LA for like that game or whatever to finish the season or whatever and brought him back. And I was like, damn, I see you working, Bake. Then he went to Tampa Bay and he's been pretty solid there. Situation like that with a guy like that who's still relatively young, that's intriguing. I think it'd be cool as fuck if all of a sudden Shad Khan, you know what I'm saying? Like, say you had inside Dak and Shad Khan said, "Hey man, we're cutting ties with Lawrence." That's a retread. That's a retread. Everybody's down on him now, but that's a retread. I'd love to take a chance on.
Yeah.
But
that's a retread.
But which is, you see how they value quarterbacks, right?
Right.
Like Khan's not going to do that. He's just not. Because they just signed him, but he's not going to do that. But like, you got to, like, okay, look how Pittsburgh benefited from Russ.
Mm-hmm.
Russ came back and was playing some good ball, man. I mean, yeah, man, they've been getting worked here lately, but we knew that team had deficiencies. Hell, the Cowboys beat them. You know what I mean? We knew they had deficiencies, right? But Russ played some good ball, man. And of course, you got Tomlin, great coach. Again, this kind of shit you can do with a great coach, right? You know what I mean? You bring in Russ, he don't cost you nothing, right? And look, man, are they in the playoffs? The AFC doesn't have as many, like Cincinnati's still alive. So I think Pittsburgh's in the playoffs. I think 10 gets you in the AFC. I think they're in, right? So, yeah, they are in. So, okay, they may get, 1 and run. I get that. That could happen. But shit, they're in the playoffs. I think that not having Dak Cliff will put you into that world of, okay, who's floating around?
It's rough out there.
Who's floating around? David Carr, Kirk Cousins, and you're only doing that. You're gonna save a shitload on your cap. Ooh, well, we know he's got warts, but he's only costing us $20 million this year, right? Which is so crazy to be concerned about as a fan, because it's cap space. It's not even out of money. I mean, it's not out of pocket money, although it is, but it's cap space. That's what matters to fans, right? But that cap shit is such a myth. I saw the fucking Saints. 1 year the Saints was $200 million over the cap. We're $200 million over the cap. What are we going to do? And they didn't get fined, not now, draft picks or nothing, right? Because they figured it out.
Well, you know, it's funny. When you're in that position, when you don't have a quarterback, you're like in 2 a.m. club mode. And at 2 a.m., and you try and find something to take down, your options start dwindling.
A nice soft landing spot.
Yes, just soft landing spot. So you may find you a really good prospect at 2 a.m., but chances are it's a reason why she's still at the bar at 2 and nobody didn't select it. And that's more or less the free agency room of quarterback. So when the National Quiet Storm, lamented about this earlier, he's saying, okay, should we is it worth it to extend Dak? So the natural pushback, you know what I'm saying, is like, okay, yeah, I understand that Dak is not the most desirable quarterback to have right now to lead our team. But then you look around the room, who else is the option? And when you really be honest about that shit, you got a lot of 2 o'clock at the bar kind of bitches that you got to select from, i.e., backup quarterbacks. And it's a very rough quandary that you have to deal with. So, yeah, man.
Like, who could have called Sam Darnold? Who fucking called that one? This guy's out on the street.
Minnesota only.
One seed.
Minnesota only.
But okay, to walk that back a little bit, who could have called Sam Darnold? Well, it's like Baker. This is like, what, did Darnold go first in the draft or some shit, or second?
Yeah, he was a high.
Like Lance went third, right? You're like, well, somebody fucking saw something, right? There had to be some sort of talent, attraction, lure, pedigree, whatever the case may be, right? That's what's so intriguing about it, man. If they had been like, well, look, all in means Dak, we just gonna wait and see. Then going into this offseason, can you imagine, right, the drama every single day on all the talk shows with the Cowboys QB situation in flux? Just that, right? And maybe the coach situation too in flux, right? Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Man, segments every day, all day. I don't care who doesn't like it. They would have been, why are the Cowboys going to do a quarterback? Oh, where's Dak going to land? You know what I'm saying? Oh, what are they going to do with coach, man? Like, think about the shift, right, that your franchise could have had if you did that with, the 2 prominent positions of coach and QB being open. But also remember this. Look at the talent on the roster, right? Look at the talent on the roster. You make the right fucking moves at those spots, you have a chance. It's like the message that I sent to y'all in the chat the other day. I saw this AI, artificial intelligence, predicts the next 10 Super Bowls. Man, they had the Cowboys in 2 of them.
Damn.
They had them in it next year, and they had them in it in 2027.
Hey, man,
right? Which I know it seems insane, but if you start to peel this thing back, right, and say it was just, hey, we're looking where we're at QB and head coach, right? Well, what do you have to build on? Well, you got some young old linemen, you got Smith, who, although he's not playing particularly well today, he has been all pro. Okay. High draft picks. You got guys that you like. Okay. Obviously, you got CD. All right. You got a pretty good tight end room. Okay. You've got defenders, DBs. You got Parsons.
Zach
Martin comes enough good shit to build on, man, that you could flip the script on it. If you do the right thing, you can flip the script on it.
Agree. I think our problem is we're just a flat team right now because Tank ain't played all year. Like we have to recognize that Tank ain't played all year. I think we have a lame duck coach. I mean, it is what it is. Question, man, do you think Zach Martin would reevaluate and give it another go? Kind of a la your boy Jason Witten about 5 years ago.
I mean, in this, okay, and it's all, as we said, speculation, right? I look at players and stuff, right, and I kind of take that old Dodgers approach that Branch Rickey and them used to take. And that approach was get rid of a motherfucker a year too early rather than a year too late.
That's fair.
And Zach Martin's a Hall of Famer. So how cold-blooded am I to say that? You know what I mean? How cold of, because God knows, everybody knows I was damn near gay for Tyron Smith. Right?
And I was going to get rid of him 3 years early. I was on the guy like, fuck out of here.
Man, like I was in love with the guy. right? Like I met him up at a restaurant in Frisco, and I was like, I just want to say how much we love you. Have a good night. He smiled, big smile. He's probably glad because I didn't stay over there fucking bothering him. But I just told him, hey man, I just want you to know how much we all love you. Enjoy your night, right? Because he's holding down the backside. You know what I'm saying? This was 2016 too.
2016 is fine. 2016
it was 2016, and I'm like
2019 and beyond, fuck Tyron Smith.
Like Tyron, you're a dear, 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 lovely man. I just want you to know that. Right. And so, but again, and there was emotion attached to that because I know Tyron's story and his family, man, and he's just one of those guys that you can't help but like. And Zach Martin is also very likable. But again, man, I'm gonna go to the Dodger card. Man, let him go 1 year too early rather than 1 year too late. Because you got some would say, well, you're just giving yourself something else to have to figure out. Well, yeah, you got a lot of things to figure out. All right. And you got to stabilize this thing. Okay. Back in the days of Aikman, and Irvin, it's like you're in 99, right? You bring in Ishmael, right? You bring in Stepnoski. They brought Stepnoski back actually. And I'm trying to remember they had a defense. It wasn't Broderick Thomas, but it was some defensive free agent that they brought in. Like they had got like 3 free agents, and Ishmael was one of them. And prior to that year, you can look at it and say, all right, man, we only may have, who knows when Emmett's going to fall completely off. Because you have to understand he was 8 years in. You know what I'm saying? You got Irvin, who's 11 years in. So you can make a move and say, all right, man, we have Zach Martin. You know what? I don't really want to have to fool with getting a new guy in here. Let's keep Zach because we're going to make one more run, right? And you saw how they started in 99, man. It was 3-0. 3-0. And we're beating the Eagles 10-0 when Michael Irvin got hurt. Just what looked like a routine play, and his career's over. And they were never the same after that. They finished that year 8-8, right? You know what I'm saying? And so in that situation, you're like, all right, man, we got Troy, we got Mike. Emmett may be about to fall off, but he looked pretty good last year. Okay. He looked really good in 98 and 99 too. Really, actually, if you look at it, right? I mean, he's Emmett, but you're like, okay, one more year, let's make a run, right? I don't know if you can say that. In a way, you might be able to say that because you're like, all right, we count on Dak. Come back, we have CD back. We'll figure out the running back situation. Defense going to be pretty good. We're going to figure out who we're going to lose, who we're going to keep. You know what I'm saying? And it's still, we still got Diggs. We still got Bland. You know what I'm saying? We still got Parsons, right? We still got LaFalu. We can maybe keep O'Diggy somehow. We have the draft, fortify the defense and shit. All right, one more run. But your quarterback's a big question mark.
Yeah, huge question mark.
It because of the injury. These are lower body injuries, man. Any athlete that is, and a baseball scout told me this. He said, yeah, man, we like you. You can run and you can throw. We don't care that you're skinny. All right. He said, we'll take care of all that. We'll even teach you how to hit. You can run and you can throw. He said, but you're going to get bigger. And he said, athletes that are 6 feet and over and play at 200 pounds and over, lower body issues. It's el laco del muerte. It's a mortal lock. You play a sport like basketball or even baseball, or football. You're still running baseball. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless you're DH, but still, it's just inevitable. He's had him now. Now, that broken leg shit was a fluke. Okay, that was terrible, but it happened. And now they say he still occasionally wears a walking boot in everyday life. They were saying that this is a few years later, right? Because that happened in 2020. They were like 3 years later, man, he still occasionally has discomfort. I mean, obviously, man, your fucking leg's broken in half. Yeah, man, there might be some residual effect. And you steady trying to play quarterback, right?
That's
So
rough.
it's just the reality of it. You know, he had been really pretty durable up to that point.
Yeah, but he's very durable.
You know, and that's what you're looking at, or what you were looking at. Like, all right, man, you know, they were the 1 seed in 2016. They didn't capitalize. Okay, they got beat in the second round, 2018. All right, but he's young, he's durable, and he's not a big turnover guy. Right? Not a big turnover guy. So this is why a guy get a quarterback like that is going to get you max money. But now you gave it to him, and now you have all these questions. Right? And that's just life. They got to deal with it.
Yeah.
I believe he'll work hard enough to come back. I really do. But it's just like, he's not a receiver. Okay. So that's good news. And obviously, if we wanted him to run more prior to this, right? Pissing in one hand, wishing the other, he's going to be running less.
Whoa. Hold on.
Less.
Not to interrupt, but man, Pickett throws a dime to the back of the end zone to Anthony Brown. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Oh, they call a holding offense. All right, we bring it back. 30. It was just third down. Thank God. And Pickett's hurt. Pickett's down.
We got one more
Pickett's time. He's been hurt.
Jesus Christ, I got fucking CBS on. What am I doing? I was wondering. I was like, damn, it's a long ass halftime.
Yeah, no, man, it's back.
It's a long ass halftime, man. I'm just gonna vamp with Cliff and wait for them to get back from 78 Ford commercials. Right? Okay, so now I'm back. Oh yeah, there it is, as you called it. Right? But that one's coming back. That one came back again, man. Jerry had to be so happy, right, that they were winning and that he was going to be able to bring McCarthy back. If they get smoked here, which it looks like that's what's going to happen, yep. Okay, even with their third team quarterback smoking you.
Okay. We got a second string out there who nobody wants.
I'm sorry, man. That's got to count for something.
Hey, speaking of smoke, I'm getting smoked in my fantasy league. Y'all people. 132-45. And it's not like I got like a lot of motherfuckers who ain't played yet. It's bad. It is bad. I'm getting smoked right now like a brisket, man, before goddamn a black picnic. Yeah. So I'm not having a great Sunday. You can't read between lines. I'm not having a great Sunday right now. So shout out to Gelly Knight, man, best admin out there to ever do it.
I did the very first fantasy league ever in 1989. The Dallas Morning News. There was about 20,000 people, and it was the very first one. And I did it, and you would have thought that with the Cowboys going 1-15, it would have made things interesting for me. I didn't win it, but I finished in the top 10%, which is, I don't know, 1,900 or whatever, right? But I felt like it ruined the game for me, right? And so 20 years later, I played again, right? And it was 2011. And so I just drafted a bunch of Packers, right? Like my whole squad was Packers on offense. Man, I won that shit wire to wire. They went 15-1, but they got upset by the Giants that year.
No, the wins and losses don't matter. It's production.
Yeah, but they were putting up massive numbers with Rodgers, right? And Cobb. I don't know if Jordy Nelson was still there. He might have been, but they were putting up huge. No, it was my man James Jones and all those guys, right?
Yeah,
just clowning. I don't know if my man H-Town Donald Driver was still around. That might have been.
Was gone by then.
Yeah, he might have been gone by then, but. They were lighting motherfuckers up, and they had won the Super Bowl, and they were the 1 seed. And the Giants came to town and smoked them in round 1. Fucking 9-7, 10-6 fucking Giants, right? Got on one of their runs, right? And yeah, man. And I won it wire to wire, but still, it's like what I didn't like about it was it made me get mad you know, when motherfuckers didn't play well, right? Now, if you ever saw somebody on the street, I already know the answer to this. But if you ever saw a player on the street that let you down, I guarantee goddamn to you, you wouldn't be coming to him. Hey man, you screwed up a fantasy league. I lost $500. You know, and people do that, right? And I'm like, it's ruining the game, right? You know what I mean?
I don't really blame him though. I feel it. But okay, listen. As a former athlete, I know how goofy that is. I know how annoying that may be to an athlete. But as a non-athlete for damn near the same amount of time, couch dweller, I be feeling that shit. Like either if it's me doing fantasy league or like I believe in you and I start bragging on you and I go into these sports spaces and I start to like big you up and you let me down. I'm like, you motherfucker. Goddamn it, get together, shit. You're making me look bad in debates. You're making me look incompetent. Get the shit together.
and you know that, and the thing is that and Madden, you know, it's really geared towards non-athletes, right? But then athletes, you know what I'm saying? Like myself and you at one time, okay, I'm not talking about now. Athletes, we will actually get into the shit and do it.
Correct.
You know, I know Maurice Jones-Drew said he used to play Madden 12 hours a day.
Yeah. It
right?
gets like that.
You know, and it's fun. Ain't no doubt about it. And yeah, man, it's like, I guess I'm leaving out the fact that fantasy, I guess you get X amount of camaraderie out of the shit, I guess. Right?
No, you do.
So, you know, but that's my run-ins on fantasy football. You know, but put it like this. When the NFL gets involved, right? Like they have NFL, like they're doing commercials for fantasy leagues and shit, and they're involved. Yeah, it's a thing. It's like, a real thing.
Say, player, I'm gonna need my cut.
It's a real thing, man. When the NFL starts caring about some shit, that means money, right? And it's huge, man. Like I hear all the radio hosts talk about it. You know, oh, fancy, like they have segments and shit on it, right? You know what I mean?
No,
3rd and 13 for the boys, and it's the fucking dropped wide receiver screen pass. Yeah, that's fucking feeble.
And that's rough going for feeble. 3rd and 13 on your own 30.
What a feeble play call, man.
That's rough.
Look at me. I run wide receiver screens in my offense. It's minimal risk with huge gain.
On our side of the field. That's rough. So again, going back to the international quiet storm,
yes, man.
How much of this can you put up with? How much of this where everything has to go right, i.e. your quarterback does not have the ability to push the ball upfield. We don't have a stout enough run game to just break plays and just break open offense. So basically, we're hoping for perfect football, whereas the other team messes up and we just do everything fundamentally sound. And newsflash, you're not going to win a lot of games in NFL if you cannot enforce your will. And this is my problem. So to all the Dak Boo Birds, I understand because Dak will do a lot of frustrating things. But at the end of the day, this is the alternative. Is this what you really want?
Shit, for real. Is this what you really want? I mean, you know, I see that play call, okay? And it's the fucking Chiefs that really brought shit in vogue big time in the NFL when they had Tyreek Hill. But you look at this shit, it only works with fucking Tyreek Hill or CeeDee Lamb. And that doesn't even include the 8 times that it doesn't work with them.
How about to say?
You know what I mean? You know, it's just that and the draw on 3rd and long are just such give up plays.
Draw.
Just we're gonna draw. We catch them sleeping. Yeah, right.
Draw.
Right. What was the analytics in that? Well, draw works 0.01% of the time. Maybe this is that 1%. Jesus, man. That's the thing with this is what I really have noticed with McCarthy, right? All we heard was, well, you know, that time I took off, right, that was on purpose. I went back to the lab and studying analytics and eating calzones and shit. You know what I mean? And I think that what happens with him is that he thought that, okay, it'll give me a boost, right? But I'll still keep my old school sensibilities. Kellen Moore wants to throw it all over the place. I want to run it. So what he does, man, is he essentially, right, goes against his own momentum. It's literally like the hitch in Kerry Collins' mechanics, right? If you're a quarterback coach, you can see it. And it looks like Kerry Collins had beautiful mechanics. He had a little hitch in it. He would flick the ball out before he pulled it up, the flick outward. And if you watch it, you can see it. And you're like, but you're flicking it away from your hand that you're trying to keep it in. And then you're going to regather it and throw it. And because those were his mechanics, he's such a big, strong dude with a big arm, it looked like it wasn't a problem, right? But you're going against your own fucking momentum because he gets in these situations. And how many times does he get in these situations and not do the analytical thing? You're like, oh, okay, well, how many times we talk about him not having, wanting to go for it, or not having a 2-3 yard play for extra points for going for it on fourth down, and him not going for it on fourth down, or him inexplicably going for it on fourth down. Like we talked about it on the show a couple years ago. The CeeDee Lamb lunges, they're getting beat by the Eagles 17-0 or whatever it is, right? Cooper rushes in. CeeDee Lamb lunges, appears to get the first down. They don't spot it that way. McCarthy goes all analytics and hauls ass up and tries to run a sneak on 4th and 1, and they don't fucking get it. Okay? And we said, hey, man, somebody in the booth need to tell you, hey, man, relax, challenge that. If you don't challenge it, you save from yourself and you punt. Right? But nah, he is conflicted. Right? Like they used to say about Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was fighting 2 wars. The Civil War and the one inside his brain pan, right? The one inside his mind, right? And that's what I see with him. He talked about all these analytics, because obviously everybody said, well, you coasted and got lucky that you had Rodgers, right? So he wants to show, well, nah, man, it was some me, things that I did. So I'm going to get into analytics and go to this coaching lab. Oh, that's all we did. We were at this coaching lab, looking at analytics, becoming better coaches, right? And, the guy is I think he's 60 years old. That's what I see happening with him in his decision-making process. His old school won't let him sell out completely on the analytics. If you're going to be an analytics guy, like the brother in the capri pants down in Miami, then you got to be that motherfucker all the time. Right? But now he's going to, I'm smarter than everybody. I can still be old school. And what it leads to, man, is indecisiveness. That's what it leads to. If you want to, so we all saw Moneyball, great movie, one of my favorite sports movies of all time, period, ever. Love it. And what Boston ended up doing was they offered Bean the job, and then they took one of his proteges, Epstein. What they were going to do is they were going to say, hey, man, guess what? Y'all did analytics out of necessity, right? We're going to do analytics, and we're going to back it with big money. We're going to do analytics, and we're going to, in other words, there are the splash players that we're going to be able to go get, namely pitchers, okay, that analytics ain't, it's not the thing with your starters. I mean, the Moneyball thing was great, man, but people forget, man, they had fucking Mark Mulder, Zito, Hudson, okay. They had 3 aces at the top of that rotation. Now, they lost, they ended up losing them all, but what the guy in Boston was looking to do, and it worked. Boston broke through and won their World Series. It worked. He said, we're going to use analytics, but I got the big money to back it up. If you're going to use a hybrid of a system, man, do it like that. To me, it affects his decision-making. You know what I'm saying? he has this analytics philosophy that he puts out there, and then he gets in the game, man, and it's like, maybe listen to analytics.
I'll say this. Oh my God, AJ Brown with out of bounds with a one-handed grab, but he is out of bounds. Back to the end zone. Ooh. So right now, feelings on a third quarterback, McGee. Oh
that was
man,
great.
He goes off bland. Woof. If it was college, it'd have been all good. What a grab!
They're playing the third team guy, rolling the Cowboys.
Bruh.
Playing the third team guy, rolling them.
But again,
that's
this is
somebody there, man. They ain't got lamb, man. But damn, you know, like they don't do shit to try to get Mingo involved at all.
Yeah, man. Like, why trade for a fourth round? So I gotta say this: why trade for a fourth rounder you're not gonna implement? Last year, why trade for a fourth rounder in Trey Lance that you're not gonna implement? So it's a hard time for me to pick up what you're putting down as far as you making these in-season decisions that's supposed to be game-changing players. Listen, I don't give a shit. I mean, Trey Lance is athletic. Put that motherfucker on wild out or something. I don't know. Terrell Pryor did it. Marcus Vick, Michael Vick's younger brother did it. Like, find where he can your boy Braxton from Ohio State, he did it. I don't understand, like, why keep him on ice when you're already on your backup quarterback in a season that is nothing to really, to be gained from this. Why are you not kicking the tires on this? What the hell?
And the Lance shit fucked them. The Lance shit fucked them because all them good fourth round running backs were off the board. They didn't have a fourth rounder. We talked about it, man. There's a fourth rounder in San Francisco, the fourth rounder with the Giants, and they're all hogging out, right? Like they can play, right? And Cowboys didn't have a chance to get them. And then it was exacerbated by the fact you were heavy at QB. You couldn't really never bring Dalvin Cook up. You had to let somebody go. Why? Well, we're 3 at QB. You know what I'm saying? We're heavy at QB. Even with the lax QB rules, where Lance, if it's Prescott, Lance, and Rush, Lance comes to the game and he suits up. You know what I'm saying? But he's inactive unless your first stringer gets hurt. Then you activate him during the game. That's the provision, right? But having him on the roster, right, because you couldn't practice squad him, right? It cost you a roster spot, and you didn't have the running back. Okay, it seemed like an okay swing at the fences move to make at the time, and that's what the Mingo thing was. You know, Mingo is physically, man, he's a DK Metcalf starter kid. Yeah. Big dude, fast. They both happen to go to school in Mississippi, just as a coincidence. But that was the thinking there. He was a second-round pick that got lost. And, hey, you know what? He's under control for – whatever it is, 3 or 4 more years, touchdown Eagles, AJ Brown, third team quarterback dealing.
Ooh, that's a dime,
right?
The third quarterback throwing dimes out here on us. This is where we at.
So they thought, well, we're gonna get a second-round talent, a high second-rounder, right? Second-round talent, and we have him under control, and we like his talent. We really liked him in the draft. Okay, obviously it's smart if it works out. It doesn't look like it's going to, and I think it's going to be a situation where there's so much in flux with their quarterback, right? That's going to take precedence over everything next year and seeing if Dak's going to be ready. Because if it's Rush again, well, him and Mingo have no chemistry. All right. And so, yeah, that one could be definitely a waste. Same shit they said about Lance. Shit they were saying about Mingo. Wow, man, we can't believe, man, they gave up a fourth for that guy.
Yeah.
Nobody else would have given up more than a sixth. And you hear people say this. And look, these media guys, the one thing they're good for is they do get the benefit of anonymous quotes and information.
Yeah.
Right? They get a chance to call these other GMs, hey, man, what you think about Mingo? Shit, I had that motherfucker valued at a 6th. They got a 4th for him? Dude. What about Lance? Man, 7th. Like, they get real stingy with these draft picks. But again, we said it only takes one. And that's what happened. You know, it's like we have all these little gripes and beefs, right? I think people think we're trying to pin it on one thing. It's never just one thing. It's like that fucking Tom Cruise movie. Him and Leah Thompson, all the right moves. Every time I think of Jerry, I'm like, all the wrong moves. Right? You know, Will McClay put you in this great spot. Okay. Again, another man that I'm gay for without the sex. Will McClay puts you in a great spot. He has, I think, since he's taken over, I heard the stat the other day. Baltimore's number 1, Dallas is number 2 in Pro Bowlers since McClay took over. Shit, you know what? And I can see it. You know what I mean? We can see the good players, right? We could see the Deron Blands and all these guys, right? You know, CD and all these cats, right? And sometimes in the draft, man, shit falls to you. CD, the draft fell perfectly for them to get CD, and thank God it did because I wanted him really bad.
Same with Ezekiel Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott, same thing. If you're consistently good, it don't matter what happens in the draft. You know what I mean? You know, like Ozzie Newsome and them, wow, Baltimore, here we go again. They've always said some drafts are better than others, man, but there's players in every draft.
Yeah.
Every draft. Your job is to find them.
Tom Brady is an ultimate proof of that theory. That you got the greatest quarterback ever waiting in the 6th round.
I think 10 years has proven, right, despite some of the drafts, you know, you could question, you know, Smith, Spoonmaker. You could question Guyton a little bit. Jury's still out on those guys. But 10 years is 10 years. Okay? 10 years is 10 years, man. We used to look at the Wade Phillips drafts and be like, damn, man, that 2009 draft, they got exactly 0 players out that motherfucker. 0. 0. They ain't get a single. They traded back. They ain't get a single player out of that shit. All right. And they needed help on fucking defense. And this is Phillips. All right. So we don't have that.
We go down with a big 20-yard game. All right, go ahead. I mean, we're down 7-34. Yeah,
the numbers are in those 10 years, Baltimore has 55 Pro Bowlers drafted. Dallas has 53. And there are media people that, because they don't know, man, there's something about being local. There's just something about being local that gives you a little bit more insight as to what's really going on with an organization. Like, we have a different view of Belichick than they do in New England.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they're with them every, you know, they're the ones that are with them every day and that kind of a thing, right? And so Jody McDonald is a Hall of Fame writer, broadcaster. He's actually very, very good. Very, very good. It's been the holidays, and so he's been filling in on these ESPN shows. He's very, very good. But he's one of these people that thinks Jerry did the last 10 years of personnel. Like, it's like, I want to say, Jody, man, you're so great. And I know you're, he's supposed to hate the Cowboys, but he doesn't. He's an East Coast guy that gives the Cowboys mad respect in the Hall of Fame. He jumped up on tables for Cliff Harris and, like shit like that. Like it's, so he's unbiased. And I know he's good at what he does, but I heard him a couple of days ago. And he's like, well, personnel decisions under Jones have gotten better in the past 10 years. You certainly have to give him that credit. Because Jerry won Executive of the fucking Year in 2014 for being withheld from drafting Manziel. Mm-hmm. Okay. Will McClay should have won Executive of the Year. All right. Because Jerry wanted to draft Manziel. McClay drafts the Hall of Famer, Zach Martin. And you go and you make a little playoff run.
Right.
So McClay has provided him with the team. He's provided them with the team. And when Jimmy says they weren't good enough, it's everybody else. That's my run-ins on it. I swear to God, especially since the arrival of Micah and Diggs and Bland. Since the arrival of Micah and Diggs and Bland, okay, a different set of eyes, a more competent set of eyes, a more competent coach, front office, the whole shot, they get a fucking Super Bowl out of that.
They should.
An appearance, bare minimum. Conference title game, there's a couple of them.
Let's march up the ladder properly first. Conference title first. Shit.
I just can't help but think someone like McVay, right? Or someone like Reed, right? You know, or if, you know, last year, right? Like, gosh, man. I mean, I know it's just a weird deal.
Well, I got another thing. If we'd have splashed on Jim Harbaugh, man, he turned the damn Chargers around this year. Like, come on, man.
By being committed to running the football.
With a good
quarterback. From jump, they had a plan. Yeah. You saw how they drafted with Harbaugh. Everything was drafted towards running the football, right? And they committed to it. And they came out and they ran it. They had a plan. You know what I mean? I'm thinking in my mind, like, damn, man, like, you know, if you had thumbed McCarthy, right, and brought in a new coach, and maybe you could get Brian Flores as your defensive coordinator, who is dealing in Minnesota right now as their D coordinator. You know, maybe you're fucking up on coaching and you know who the good fucking coaches are and you're hungry and you're opportunistic and you fucking go get them with your cowboy money. There's no cap on coaches.
Yeah.
Right? And you say, hey, look, you know, fuck this. You know, we're bringing in, I don't care, pick a name. We're bringing in Kingsbury. We're bringing in Pete Carroll, you know, or whatever, or whoever, right? Pete Carroll's probably a bad example because he's defense, but like, oh, you know, we went out and got Sean Payton or whatever, and boom, we're bringing in fucking Flores to run fucking defense, right?
Yeah.
You know, you got a chance to do that this year in the offseason. If you were to, like, what if you were to get Kingsbury and then, hey, Robert Saleh, hey, Roberto, hey, brother, why don't you come down here and run the defense for $6 million a year?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Throw fucking back the Brinks truck up. All right? You're damn near fucking assistant HC, Saleh. Here's $5 million. We know you could coach defense, homie. We know you like Brian Flores. We know Brian Flores could coach defense. Mm-hmm. I think if we don't, we should now.
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you know on Minnesota other than Harrison Smith? They got a lot of young cats there.
You think Brian Flores wants to be a head coach again, though? You think he would take a
you know, gosh, that's a great, you know, I had forgotten he's been a head coach. That's a great point. That's a great point. You know, I'm more comfortable with the guy that's had some HC experience. You know? Yeah. And it seemed like it was going pretty good in Miami, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't great, but it seemed like it wasn't like they were a fucking joke.
It's Miami.
Wasn't it kind of a surprise when he got thumbed? When Flores got thumbed? Well, I mean, didn't they kind of pull the trigger on that quick? Because they waited with the pre-pant boy? Right? I mean, it's not the Flores. Okay, I remember when he got let go. There was a whole bunch of competency issues. And I'm like, well, shit, Flores seems competent to me. Right? And they were talking about lawsuits and shit, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you know, like it was so effed up that he was like, this is damn near worthy of wrongful termination type shit. Right? Because these other factors or whatever. In other words, it seemed like he was a competent head coach.
He looked that way to me, but I guess, you know, I mean, Miami gonna do Miami things, man. So I mean,
shit, Miami hadn't won a playoff game in 25 years.
Exactly. So it sounds like us. Well, no, that's not true. We ain't won a second round playoff game in that length of time. But
that's right. Fuck Miami. Who cares? I don't really give a shit. I'm only focused on us anyway. Everybody else sucks as far as I'm concerned. Y'all gotta all root hard or die. I'm not switching teams. I don't have a fucking second team. Oh, well, you know, this year my second team is the Bills. Fuck off. I don't have a second team.
I vicariously live through Patrick Mahomes because that's my favorite player. So I do.
He's the only fucking one. He's the only one that I don't cringe when he's dealing, I'm like you. I'm like Texas, right? Like, like he's golden. You know, I call him St. Patrick.
Yeah. He's a made man. He's a made man in Texas, man.
He's St. Patrick. He's the best player in football. He's from Texas. And everything is as it should be, motherfucker. He is the man, and he's from Texas. So take that with you. And the Chiefs started in Dallas, so choke on that. They were originally the Dallas Texans, right? If I wanted to, I'd say, hey, fuck that, man. Chiefs never left Dallas. Right? What about when they bust out their throwback uniforms? Only motherfucking team that breaks out their throwback uniforms, and they in Kansas or Missouri, Missouri, I guess, what the fuck it is. Right? That is. And they got the Texas logo on their helmet.
Yep.
Winning.
Yeah.
Right? Like my man Cliff said, and like I said, New York, Los Angeles, it's over. It's our time now. It's Texas's time now, Playboy, and it's gonna be that way heretofore. So, like it, don't like it, but you better accept it because it's gonna be, and it is the best thing going, Playboy. Hey, I love it. I do take solace in that. That's the only time in my life that I've ever been like, okay, well, man, I do like that guy, you know, and been like they win a bowl. Like I've always thought Baltimore had some cool players. I've always thought Carolina had some really cool guys that I like. Like I like Steve Smith. I like Julius Peppers. You know, I like Anquan Bolden when he was with Baltimore. I just thought the way he talked shit was just ungodly. He's a hell of a player. I always thought Ed Reed was cool. You know, Mike McCrary, Ray Lewis. But that's it. That's the extent of the admiration club. All right? I ain't switching. I'm not going to switch. It's about the Cowboys. So, back to what I was saying. Why can't we have some fucking foresight, man? Why can't we have some foresight and know who the good coaches are and what their situation is? Because Zim, former head coach, okay, fell back nicely into a coordinator role. Mm-hmm. All right. You know, after he had his head coach run. You know, he did okay, you know, at that, you know, being a D coordinator. I mean, if the results are mixed this year, okay, again, my thing with Zim was that he didn't even know who Chauncey Golston was, and he got forced to play him. And you know, it's a third-round pick, and I'm like, you know, he's got everything you need, 6'5", 265, you know, because they were high on him when they got him, and he was getting sporadic play. And making an impact, you know, that's you know, okay, fine, you know, you don't know your personnel, whatever. But he was a former head coach. So
update. Cowboys just fumbled in the red zone, and we lost the possession.
Is that Dowdle?
36 in nice aggressive fashion. We handed off, and Rico fumbles that bad boy. Nice punch out by number 3, great punch out. I can't see his last name. That's Gardner, whatever the hyphen guy.
This shit is it's not going out with a bang. It's going out with a whimper. That's what we're seeing unfold in front of us right now. Cowboy season not going out with a bang, going out with a whimper. You know, and I hate it because the Eagles, and because it's not just with a third-string quarterback, but yes, also with a third-string quarterback. These motherfuckers are so eminently beatable. Oh my God!
But they're playing like they ain't lose a stride. Like again, like we lamented to hit the man in the fade route, back shoulder, no problem. In the play previous, Cooper Rush missed on a fade route. We got a unnecessary roughness.
Oh yeah, Smith's having a real shitty day today. He's having a fucking lousy day. I remember, you know, throughout this matchup, and I'm a big Tyler Smith fan. He has owned homeboy from Georgia. It ain't like that today. And Smith just got a personal foul. All right. So yeah, man, Smith's having a real shit day today.
Rough, man.
He's getting beat. And that's just, you hate that because this is, you know, he's one of your pillars. You know, I feel like they should have stuck him at left tackle and been done with it. That's my running on that.
Left tackle, left guard. Yeah.
He performed well, but then he made all pro as a guard.
Yeah,
right.
then
So,
crack,
it's
yeah.
To me, I feel like playing for McCarthy, especially all this time, man, because it's been 3 years now for Smith, right? I just think you're allowed as a player to get disinterested. You're allowed to. There's no repercussions. You can come out and be disinterested, right? And there's no problems. Try that shit with Parcells. Try that shit with Jimmy, Peyton, McVay, Tomlin, either of the Harbaughs. All right? D'Amico, Capri Pants guy. They're going to censor and jump on it, right? It's not going to be allowed. And I think, I don't know. I don't, the more and more I see it, I do not, and this isn't out of hatred. It's not out of hatred. As great as Saquon is, and the receivers and the secondary, as great as those guys are, and the O-line, which is great, all right, I don't have very much confidence in them at all in the playoffs. I like the Central teams better. To be honest, I like the Central teams better. All of them. All three of them. Central. I'm old. The North teams. I think the Vikings or Packers or Detroit will beat the brakes off of Philly. And maybe not totally beat the brakes off of them. Maybe not, but totally capable of beating their ass. Totally. 100% capable of whipping their ass. Beating them in a game. Any one of them. Any one of those three. Now, outside of that, I do think the Rams could get in their ass too. It's a real wild card, man, that Rams team. Stafford, another Texan. Texas. 5 minutes down the street here was where he went to high school. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5. Texan. They're playing some good ball right now. I like them versus the Eagles. I like Green Bay versus the Eagles. I like Minnesota versus the Eagles. I like Detroit versus the Eagles. And that's not to hate on the Eagles. I've given the Eagles so much love on these fucking airwaves. And rightfully so, man. They deserve it for what they've done. But we're talking about right here, right now, man, with their quarterback situation in flux. All right. Okay. 16 can deal against, a disinterested Cowboys team, went up by 27. He could turn and hand it to Saquon. Okay. I just don't. And I guess what I'm saying is that because I have seen the Cowboys and as much as it hurts to say it, I don't view them as a quote unquote real NFL team in terms of when I say real, like a playoff team. And I see that the Cowboys could vary this one, the score of this one and the one at home, they're really not indicative of what a competent team would allow. Okay. This again, man, this is another one here, man. They kept him in check. Yeah, 30 for 144, and he's great. He's been great. He's doing a hell of a job. He's a great football player. There's no question about it. and it's runs like this that he gets at the end where he skirts out untouched. That's what's giving him a chance to close in on the record. He might not have it today, although that's shit. He might. He's at 160 now, just like that. But I just look at them and I see that the Cowboys could have just. I haven't seen them come out and just wax the Cowboys, although the scores look like it. From what I've seen and watching the game, the Cowboys could have beat them really easily. And it could have been much more competitive. And Carolina should have beat their ass. Okay, so I look at that and I'm like, I think the other teams would be that I mentioned. I'd love their chances in the game against the Eagles. Hell, man, if the Cowboys were able to show up and play today and beat them and then play them in the first round, I'd give the Cowboys an outside shot. That's my thoughts on the Eagles. But Saquon Barkley is he's genius. Man, that guy, he just cracked 2,000 yards. He's a baller. Right now, best running back in the league. Yeah, Barkley's the best running back in the league. They do have that. They do have the best running back in the league, for sure. With a good receiver tandem, good tight ends, great offensive line. Their secondary, I think, is very, very, very good. I think it'd be a lot better for them if they had Reddick, if they had a pass rusher. I think that would help them a lot. But again, I think for them, man, it's the QB situation. Okay? And here were two guys that were free, showing on the graphic, Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. They've run for damn near 4,000 fucking yards and damn near 30 touchdowns between them. And the Cowboys had run game issues early on that would have solved a lot of fucking problems. That would have kept you in games and given you a chance to win games. But that's not, we just don't think like that. I would have thought that fucking Jerry, okay, with the way he was as the Eagles score again, and this one looks, way worse than it was earlier. But you are what you are, as they say. Again, man, all that, if they allow this shit to go on, all right, and focus on the 4-1 stretch, okay, which the one they shouldn't have lost, all right, coaching had something to do with that. Yeah. They may be better next year. They may go with McCarthy and be better next year because of health or whatever it is, draft and so forth, emergence, continued emergence of guys like Parsons and Bland and guys like that. But they're not they won't be a real threat, which that's what Cowboy fans have wanted. Of course, the NFC is certainly up in the air. There are good teams there, but they can be beat. I think Detroit looms as a potential juggernaut. I believe San Francisco will bounce back. Okay. I think Minnesota's set up pretty good. And I think Green Bay is certainly set up pretty good. So when if they rally or whatever and get to 11-6 next year, make the playoffs, blah, 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 as the 5 seed, and beat the 4 seed Buccaneers or, whomever, right? That's about as far as it's going to go. It's about as far as it's going to go. It's changes needed, all right? And they've got to do something. Y'all shook Steven and Will McClay, Y'all shook Jerry on drafting Manziel. Y'all shook him on it. And it paid off big time. Right? I'm just afraid that Jerry's is so stubborn now that that was the one time, okay, after, 15, 18 years of not being really good, except for one time blip on the radar, all right, that they said, hey, look, this thing is, we got to change the direction of it. And I think he may say in his brain pan, I'm not going to, you guys have exceeded your numbers of chances to change me. I'm digging in. And it's coaching in some sports is overblown. We've always said here it's about the players, but it does have an impact. Okay? It does. Especially when you're at these elite level, type of setups, right? And of course, he's going to score and this one's coming back. Well, he didn't score, but it's coming back anyway, whatever. When you're at that elite spot, okay, that coach, that manager can make a difference. The 2023 Texas Rangers obviously had the personnel start out 60-40, 5 starters in the All-Star game. That hadn't happened in 47 years. Okay. They fell off a little bit in the second half. Some injuries and whatnot. That happens. But won the World Series. And Bochy had a big hand in that. Players made the plays. Okay. But it's knowing how to use them. And it's the attitude that you instill in the day-to-day workplace. I don't know Mike McCarthy. Apparently he's a great guy. Okay. I need somebody that's maniacally hungry as a coach and singularly focused and not drifting between analytics and old school sensibility in a fluid situation. I need a plan, and I need my personnel to go hand in hand with that. This is going out again with a whimper, 41-7. Okay, in a game that it shouldn't even have fucking come to that. All right, and then these horse shit mistakes, But that's what you get with Cooper Rush. Okay, he's just not a great thrower of the football. He's not. I mean, and I've seen him look better than Dak in accuracy drills. So what does that say? But again, there's no comparison between Rush and Prescott. There's just none at all. Zero. And this is what you get. This is, what you're left with. There's a reason he's a backup. We've talked about it before on the show. Franchise QBs don't float around on the waiver wire. So, here we are, man. We're 6 years with this guy. All right. They're about to be 7-9 today. Okay. So, I don't think they'll win next week at all. I don't see that happening at all based on this shitbag effort, because that's what this is today. This is a shitbag effort. It's a shitbag game. Okay. So, put them at 7-10. So that is 36. That's 49. And 49-35. $49-35 in 6 seasons. That's a tick above 8-8. That's a 9.5 and 6.5 average. Okay, with this fucking team. Okay, with this crew. Fucking Lamb. Fucking Parsons, Prescott. All right, with this crew. Right? Yeah. 1-3 in the playoffs. Yeah. I'm sorry, given the personnel, man, I just would like to think that Jerry would say that, I like Mike. Unfortunately, my expectations were significantly higher than what we achieved. I don't think there's anybody in their right mind that would Jerry for that. In fact, it's totally what we want. It's 100% what we want. 41-7, 6.5 left. It's all laughs and jokes. Saquon got $160. Yeah. It's super gay is what it is. And yeah, the Eagles could get the 1 seed. I still don't. I still think that there's better teams in the NFC, and I think that there's against the Eagles. There's at least 3 AFC teams that I would have them as underdogs against. But that's my opinion. Still got to play season. That's how it goes. I mean, it's pathetic, to end it up like this. 4 turnovers. And again, that's Rush. That starts with Rush. Impacts your whole ball club. Which, hey, look, these years that they've been able to get all these turnovers and stuff and do all the stuff that they've been able to do, that's because their offense got them off to a good start. That's what it was. So you can't really minimize what Prescott's done in the regular season. In terms of just it gets them off to a good start, or they at least don't come out and give away the farm. Okay, which they've done that just too many damn times. Too many. It's too many times that's happened. That they've just spit the bit in terms of the offense, not only not producing, although that's a big deal. Not producing, big deal. P&M's big deal. But turning the ball over. Can't win like that. Just can't do it. And you see Carolina plays these guys nose to nose, right? Because they didn't come out and fuck around and give the game away. Actually got a chance to beat them. And you see this today, 41-7. Yeah. That's pathetic. I'm sorry, man. I cannot have Mike McCarthy around, all right, after shit like this. And that stench. It's the stench, the noxious fumes of his lies. Stench of his lies. And make no mistake about it. It's a stout stench. It's bad. It's a bad deal. But I will ride it out. Continue with the audio portion of the game, right? And ride it out. Like I said, I'm here for the audio, and we'll continue to watch this train wreck as it unfolds. You just cannot, you just can't. You can explore all the options internally of what's going to make you better or what's going to prevent you from sucking more, which is what keeping a veteran coach does. You can do that, and that's fine. Okay? But man, that's not the way Jerry came out of the box with Jimmy, and even going forward with Switzer and Purcell's. Okay. He was always opportunistic, and he's just not opportunistic anymore. And their structure on the cap side, it just has not been smart at all. It hasn't. It's been whomever comes free, it's top end market value because they wait and they always cave. And so now he can't be that guy. He can't be that aggressive guy because they're not smart. The fucking Eagles are smart. All right. The Eagles are smart about shit. They make things happen. Every situation is different. Chiefs are smart about it. Again, that's a different situation. You have the franchise quarterback and one of the greatest tight ends of all time. And Spagnuolo and that defense and their personnel has been outstanding. It has been great. So every situation is different, but you create your own situation. You have some control, some power there. All right. So the fact that you don't use it properly, well, it just wipes out all the good work that Will McClay has done. Just wipes it out. Relevant from a competitive standpoint throughout the regular season, although not this year. But ultimately, nothing. Ultimately, nothing. So it's time. It's just straight up time for them to make a change. It's 6 years of this shit, man. It's not going anywhere. Talk about the injuries and all that kind of stuff. It's just, but it's not going anywhere. And I can't even say it. I was going to say, don't be stubborn and let the media asking you, Jerry, if you're making a coaching change, stop you from making a coaching change. But it will. He literally thinks that if he makes a coaching change and it works, that they're going to go behind him and say, see, we're the media guys that said it. Jerry gets no credit. He is in perpetual fear of a loss of credit. It paralyzes him. The fear of the loss of credit paralyzes him and paralyzes the football team. They can go nowhere because of this. They're not going anywhere because of this. And that's just how it goes. Winding it down, last couple minutes here. 41-7. Again, and that makes the Eagles look so much better than they are. All right. So much better. Okay, because they're not this good. All right. It's that There's a fundamental flaw in Dallas with the way things are run. That's what it is. And that's what it comes to. So hope y'all have enjoyed it today. Tough one to watch. But yeah, they're playing out the string in this one. So Straight Up Chase podcast should be back next week. Hope y'all enjoyed watching this one with us. Till we see you next time, 2 feet in the heartbeat. Be thankful for what you got, but try to get what you can the right way.
All right, I'm back, man. Back to this onslaught. This ain't great.
Yeah, man. Last couple of minutes, I just have been railing on the fact that Jerry is just so fearful of somehow losing credit. If the media heats him up after the game and says, "Oh, so what's the deal with the coach? What's the deal with the coach?" He's going to dig in even more and not make a necessary change. Because I swear this man literally thinks that if he brings in the right coach and does it the right way, and the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, that all these media assholes and people are going to be saying, yeah, but we're the ones that told you that. We're the ones that told you that. You don't get the credit. You don't get the credit. He's paralyzed by that shit. Paralyzes him. He's all about credit. You know?
Yeah.
And that's why it's like I was, like bracing myself for, it being a deal where McCartney could come back and I guess it could be quasi-justified, right? But I'm sorry, man. You can't justify it after today.
Well, listen, man. I know you have a half cup full mentality. I was out on this dude 3 years ago. And that's why, again, I always lament to this fact. Episode 1 this season, I said, I'm not excited about this team. It's like I know what I'm going to get out of McCarthy. Like, over and over, I know what I'm going to get out of this cat. There's nothing else to glean from this.
Pervasive sentiment felt by many.
Come on. So this year, like, I was not expecting nothing. I wasn't expecting anything. I'd be, pleasantly surprised. I'd definitely be a liar to say I wouldn't be that. But, like, no, this is what I expected. You know what I'm saying? Especially, well, let me say this. I didn't expect a Dak Prescott injury. But if you're telling me Dak's injured, but in the rubbish bin, man, it's done. Like, so I don't understand. Well, I understand why if you're the head coach, you want to win games, obviously, because you want to preserve your job, or you want to audition for someone else to take your services. He's like, hey, listen, I lost Dak. Here's what I did with the Cowboys. But, and great for him, because if I were a coach, I would be doing the same thing. However, for me as a Cowboy fan who'll be going through all this enduring pain since forever, it's like, okay, I know what you're doing. You're trying to win to keep your job. But for me, we're not going anywhere with this. And that's the part that pisses me off the most.
It's proven. I mean, you are what your record says you is. You are what your record says you are. And, this is he's going to be 49 and 35 in 6 years. Okay, something along the lines of 9.5 to, whatever, 8.5, 8.5 and 7.5, like right around 500, basically. Okay. I'm sorry. My bad. 9 and 7, 9 and 6-ish every year. Okay, with this roster.
But like, come on, man, it's the Cowboys.
It's not, but with this roster and where it's trending, okay, if you want to call it a wash, where is it trending right now? It's trending downward. Okay.
Correct.
So, we all want Jerry to say, well, listen, like Mike, sorry it didn't work out, but this is not the level that we expected to be at, given this roster over this period of time. And nobody would have a problem with it. In fact, everyone would love it. In fact, a lot of people want it. All right. The only reason that I would see for wanting McCarthy to come back is, again, the fear of getting someone new in here and it falling completely apart. Well, at least Mike will keep us at 7-10, 8-9, whatever. Maybe get lucky and get us to 11-6, and we'll be no threat whatsoever in the postseason. Because the team is not good enough with him as the coach. He doesn't have a good enough team with this team.
Correct.
A different coach, I think you come in here and get a new set of eyes on it.
Correct. Man, we got a trade exciting, and then that's just crazy how sparingly he's been used. Again, it shows me he's playing for his job, which I don't think any coach, I would not call you incompetent for doing that. You're supposed to play for your job. But this tells me that you don't have no faith in your future, because if we're being honest, his approach to kick the tires on Trey Lance has been non-existent. It's been non-existent because you're trying to go with the guy you trust, which, again, I'm not going to fault you, but I think anybody with two eyes, a nose, and a mouth can see that. Listen, Cooper Rush is a career backup. That's just who he is. And probably only for a handful of teams.
Who has McCarthy developed ever? Right? Did he develop Rodgers? I'd say now the answer is probably no. Okay. Did he develop Dak, or was that, again, he obviously had zero interest in developing Lance. And again, like you said, given the situation, your job, and that, why develop him for the next man to take all those L's? Unless you had an assurance from Gerald, go with it, develop him. But of course, Gerald's throwing down the big money for Dak. So no, it just wasn't going to happen. And you cannot see him at the station that he's at right now as being a developmental guy going forward. All right. Now, let's say the guy from Miami gets thumbed or Peterson gets thumbed, right? And then you make that move and you emphasize the development of Lance as your backup while you figure it out or get through the thing with Dak. And you probably got to look at maybe drafting a guy at that position if you really like him, to do that. But this team is in win now mode. And I think that that's going to be, I honestly think that Jerry, I don't know, it's a tipping point. Because what you were saying, man, I heard a lot of hosts on other shows saying, I want to get excited about a season, but I can't, given the offseason and with McCarthy and what happened in the playoffs. I just can't get excited about it. A lot of people said that, right? And then it comes to fruition, right? You see why. Clearly there was a misstep. And for him to bring McCarthy back after this, man, you just can't.
You just can't.
You just cannot. And the thing is that the scuttlebutt is, from what I'm hearing, is that he's going to stubbornly dig in. And, Hoodie's off the board. That gives him an out, right? Oh, well, there's really nobody out there. Like if Jacksonville keeps Peterson, which is a distinct possibility, if Miami keeps Capri Pants, which is a distinct possibility, okay, then who are you left with? Kingsbury, Pete Carroll.
I got one more for you. I got one more for you. Do you go? I know they got their ass handed to them yesterday. Do you go Coach Prime? Now, personally, I'm like, no. But 3 months ago, that was a strong question in the media frenzy. But do you backtrack? I mean, because you got Zimmer. Zimmer was on Prime staff last year. So, I mean, it's not that far-fetched if you really wrap your tentacles around it. What do you think?
His energy could tilt the scale.
Mm-hmm.
He's also very, very smart. You know, like I watch, fucking Dion and Emmitt Smith do Dancing with the Stars and all this shit, and like Emmitt wins it. And like Dion's another one of these guys, man. He's really good at everything he does.
Correct.
Okay. And I know him and I'm biased. All right. But I think that is a real wild card. And Jerry's supposed to be some, I'm a wildcatter. I'm an oil man. I take calculated risks. That's one that could work because his energy alone, all right, that Prime's going to speak up. And I think Prime understands personnel enough to speak up and enough to have an effect on that side. I think he'll work good with McClay. I think that's a great one. And you know what? That's a great one to end on. Let's quit on a winner.
Quit on
Coach
the
Prime, 2025.
There you go. Coach Prime, 2025.
Hey, man, big ups. Thanks for doing the show today, man. Love the shirt.
Absolutely, man. So the two best dressed podcasters, hands down, on this Sunday morning. Not enough for debate. Thank you, JC, for putting in 2.5 hours of hard work. I hope y'all appreciate. Us
right on, man. This. We'll see you next time, Big Cat.
Absolutely,
straight
man.
no chaser.
All right, y'all.
Late.
Peace.